Kwaning. Top of the stories is out. Agribusiness stakeholders urge government to develop national resilience policy to combat severe post-harvest losses affecting farmers across the country. Convener of Ghana Coalition Against Illegal Mining, Engineer Dr. Kenashigbe, calls on National House of Chiefs to intensify efforts at dealing with illegal mining. Also coming up this afternoon, President John Dramani Mahama and First Lady Mrs. Lordina Dramani Mahama in Beijing, China, to participate in the Global Leaders Meeting on Women. Well, we have details of these stories and many more coming up in the next 60 minutes if you spend your time with me. You can also get interactive with us. We are live on Facebook as TV3 Ghana. Let's begin from Avukokpa because it's in Kwewu Afram Plains, North District of the Eastern Region. And a teacher deficit coupled with poor infrastructure is rapidly affecting enrollment at the only basic school in the area. Stanley Nibler was in the community and has filed this report.
When the news team arrived in Donko Chrome, we were told about the harrowing experiences of pupils struggling for education at Avukokpa, one of the several island communities in the district. Determined to witness their plight firsthand and explore possible interventions, the team set off on a challenging journey. Some community members and a teacher volunteered to guide us on this difficult expedition. It took over 2.5 hours to reach Avukokpa, a community of fishermen and farmers, through slippery and rugged terrain. We crossed streams, went through bushes and marshy paths. This is what residents have to endure daily. When it rains and water levels rise, pupils are unable to cross to school. A pupil of Avukokpa now attends school at Mimchemfre after completing class 5 in his local school. Along with few others, he treks for more than 3 hours daily just to access higher primary education. Those unable to endure the long trek simply drop out. For him, the ride offered him by the news team was a rare luxury. Midway through the journey, my cameraman had to take over as a rider when local volunteers could no longer manage the terrain. Then the unfortunate happened. An injury was sustained, but the determination to reach Avukokpa and tell the story of this forgotten community urged us on. Eventually, we arrived just as the weather turned against us. Heavy rain forced the only teacher in the school to send the pupils home. The Avukokpa Basic School has only one teacher who handles kindergarten 1 through class 5 in a wooden structure. With no office space, the classroom becomes shelter for goats when classes are not in session. Collapsed classrooms remain unconstructed, while cement blocks meant for new buildings have lain idle for years, a stark reminder of neglect. Teachers are unwilling to accept postings here due to poor accommodation and the harsh living conditions. Community members are deeply worried. The situation has led to a sharp decline in school enrollment. Teacher shortages are not unique to Avukokpa, but widespread across the Kwewu Afram Plains North and South districts and other parts of northern Ghana. Pupils who walk long distances from Avukokpa to nearby schools often miss morning lessons, but teachers say they cannot punish them for being late.
There's no way I'll punish them, and it make when we need to have morning class, sometimes 6:30, but we can't leave them behind. Sometimes you have to wait for them, and it start class around 8 o'clock, and by that 8 o'clock they don't report. So by 9 to 10, that some of them will come, then we'll go, the class will start normal. So that's what we are following through.
For Tulasis Sedofia, the journey to education remains a daily struggle. The district chief executive of Kwewu Afram Plains South, Moses Tangbe, acknowledged the challenges and called for urgent attention.
For education, Our major challenge now is inadequate teachers. The gap is too huge. As at now, Afram Plains we need like 500 newly trained or newly posted teachers to fill our vacancies.
Kwewu Afram Plains North Chief Inspector of Education, Dawood Adamu, corroborated the situation.
It's a serious canker with the teacher deficit in Afram Plains, especially on the island. Even on the mainland, the teacher deficit is also still high.
After the community engagement, the team learned that the streams we crossed earlier had overflowed, making the return journey impossible. The only alternative was a perilous voyage across the Afram River. The plight of pupils in Avukope paints a vivid picture of the widening inequality in access to basic education in Ghana's remote communities. As the future of these children hangs in the balance, the call for renewed government commitment, improved infrastructure, and teacher motivation has never been more urgent. Stanley Nibleu, TV3 News, Avukope, Eastern Region.
Now, away from Avukope, and this year the government announced as part of fulfilling its manifesto promise, it will include 60 to 70 private schools in the free SHS policy for 2025. This is under a pilot program which is aimed at decongestion in public schools and expand access to secondary education. This is the first time private institutions will be part of the flagship initiative, with the list of approved schools made available through the Ministry of Education, Ghana Education Service, or Ghana National Council of Private Schools, NACOPS platforms. With first-year senior high school students expected in school from October 18, how has the placement been for the selected private schools? And we'll be engaging the Executive Director of the Ghana National Council of Private Schools, NACOPS. And so, like I already mentioned, let's engage the Director of NACOPS, Enokwesi Jetua, and he's the Executive Director of the Ghana National Council of Private Schools. And selected pilot schools, as part of the National Umbrella Initiative, how would you say the enrollment under free SHS has gone?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to you and your cherished viewers this afternoon. As your prelude indicated, this is the first time that the private senior high schools have benefited with the inclusion of the free senior high school policy. And so I can confirm that as we speak now, government has fully integrated 70 private schools across the regions in Ghana to be part of the free senior high school policy. In terms of enrollment, the government, through National Schools Inspectorate Authority and then the support of the council, took facility visitation to assess these schools, their facility, as to whether or not it is ready for the receiving new students. And I can confirm that all these activities has been done. Some of all the schools has been cleared, and government has posted number of students to these schools. We can also confirm that initially the numbers were not encouraging, and the council took it up, discussed with the free SHS coordinator through the Ministry of Education, and as at last week, government has actually been able to fulfill the promise of sending students to these private schools based on the declared vacancies that they have. Some of the students and the schools got about 990 students, 500 students in that range. The only challenge that we have been facing now has to do with the understanding of parents with regard to the relationship that governs this free senior school extension to the private schools. You know, government is ready to take care of the cost of the day education. And most of these private schools that have been earmarked for the pilot stage are having boarding education. And so therefore, when parents get to these schools, they want to know whether or not government will extend such kind of benefit to cover the boarding status. But that has not been agreed fully because that's not part of the negotiations that we had with the government. And so some of the schools are finding it very difficult to explain to the parents in order for them to accept those kind of placements. But we are working on it, and we believe that by the close of 18th, which comes next a week today, we'll be able to affirm to you all the number of students that have been fully integrated and in all the 70 schools across the country.
Are being faced as the process continues with self-placement and some parents wanting to make changes?
Yes, I mean, that is an open discussion, even some of the Category A schools or government schools, parents do find it very difficult to accept some of these schools that the computerized selection placement has given to them. So it is not a novelty in this regard. But the point is that most of the parents also walk in there knowing very well the kind of academic potency these private schools can offer, walk in and seek for admissions for their awards. And government has given us that kind of right to also admit students and in order for them to regularize their placement in the school. Some of the schools do even have majority or more vacancies that they can even absorb more than what the government has given to them. So the collaboration between the government and then the private schools front has been very fruitful. We are seriously working hand in hand to ensure that all the bottlenecks are well tied, so therefore we can have a smooth implementation for the first time, extending the free senior high school policy to the private schools. So we will initially say that we are grateful to the government for such kind of extension of arms given to the private schools, and we will deliver to ensure that other schools who are also yearns to be part of this free senior high school policy in the private education front will also be on board.
Okay, Mr. Enoch Kwesi Jetua is the Executive Director of NACOPS. Thanks for your time as always. And now the Minister of Energy and Green Transition, John Abdullah Jonapor, says Ghana currently has about 90% electricity access, one of the highest rates in Africa. According to him, government is determined to reach 100% coverage, emphasizing that no community should be left in the dark. The Energy Minister made these remarks when he commissioned the expansion of rural electrification to 30 new communities in the Central Gonja district of the Savannah region. So Christopher Amakongo is our Savannah regional correspondent and he joins us via Zoom for update on this very rural electrification project. Chris, what else did the minister say, especially about consumers of electricity not paying for the power they consume?
Yes, so George, the minister has been indicating that we all know that the electricity distribution companies, talk about ECG, talk about NETCO, VRA, all have to be able to get revenue for the services they render before they will be able to go pay and buy the power that we use. And so he's been appealing to residents, especially consumers of power, to try as much as possible to pay for the power they consume so that these companies will be able to raise money to go and buy power, to be able to consistently supply them with power, sake that they don't experience the power outages that they experience as a result of the huge debts that these companies have to pay.
Main in reaching the government's goal of 100% electricity coverage nationwide?
Yes, so what he's been saying is that government is very much committed because the president has shown enough commitment to ensuring that every community is hooked onto the national grid. And in doing so, government also expects consumers to do their side of the bargain by also paying for the power they have consumed so that they'll be able to do the expansion to other places for everybody to get power to be able to do their businesses and also take care of their social activities. And so he has been urging consumers to also abide by all the contract agreements they have with the power distribution companies by paying their electricity bills so that government can gather enough revenue, buy enough power to be able to supply to other places. He's also been assuring that all faulty lines along the northern belt that has contributed to some power outages will be worked on so that no community will be left behind in this drive. Let's take a listen to what the energy minister has been saying.
13 communities out of 20 communities. After this 13, we'll complete the remaining 7 and fix a date and commission the remaining 7 so that the first 20 will be done. My agenda is that phase 1, we want to commission 100 communities in the Central Gonja district alone. As you may be aware, we started the National Electrification Project in 1989. Today, Ghana has almost 90% access to electricity. It's one of the highest in Africa, but our target is to achieve universal access to electricity. That's we want to achieve about 99% access of electricity in Ghana. The Savannah region is amongst the lowest in the country. And so to ensure that there is equity, we have to work very hard and bring up Savannah region. It's about 68%, whilst the whole country is about 90%. So we have to do a lot more for the region to catch up. And that is exactly what we intend to do. Next year, with partnership and understanding from the finance minister, we are going to launch an ambitious turnkey project using local contractors. And Savannah region and other regions will be captured. So that we'll use local contractors to undertake our electrification project and to ensure that a lot of people are brought on and given electricity. Because
John Abdullahi Janapor is the Minister for Energy and Green Transition. So before we wrap up with Christopher Marco, can you describe the impacts of the recent revamped electrification project commissioned in the Central Gonja district?
Yes, so George, as the Minister rightly mentioned, if you go to the Sola Tuna Kalba district of the region, only about 25 to 30% of the entire district has access to electricity, and so the remaining figures do not have access to electricity, and so it's a very huge challenge, as he has indicated. But for the areas that these electrification projects have been commissioned, that happens to be his constituency. 13 out of the initial 20 have been commissioned, and he's hopeful that the remaining will also come through in the coming days. Now, the people are very happy. They are happy that at long last, they have also been hooked onto the national grid. The disparity is actually huge, but the residents are hoping that with him being the energy minister and coming from the constituency and the region as well, they are also hopeful that the equity gap will be addressed for them to also have access to electricity.
Thank you so much, Christopher. Christopher Marco is a Savannah regional correspondent there. And away from that, President John Dramani Mahama and First Lady Mrs. Lordina Mahama have arrived in Beijing, China, to participate in a global leaders meeting on women, hosted by President Xi Jinping and UN Women. The meeting, slated for 13 and 14th October, will bring together other world leaders to renew the spirit of the Beijing Declaration and accelerate its implementation. This year marks the 80th anniversary of the founding of the United Nations and the 30th anniversary of the Fourth World Conference on Women, organized by the UN and held in Beijing. While in Beijing, President Mahama and his delegation will also focus on strengthening Sino-Ghanaian ties and investment. President Mahama will hold discussions with his Chinese counterpart, President Xi Jinping, and wished the Premier of the State Council of the People's Republic of China, His Excellency Li Xiang. He will also meet with Chinese business leaders and host a presidential investment forum. President Mahama will also visit Fujian Province to meet businesses with a presence in Ghana. These engagements aim to strengthen the long-standing partnership between Ghana and China and promote greater cooperation in areas of mutual respect. Well, the presidential team is on standby and surely update you on these engagements in our subsequent bulletins. It is an issue that continues to dominate headlines due to its impact on almost every facet of our lives. The issue of illegal mining, also known as galamsey, and while the government, through the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, is stepping up efforts to rein in the menace, doubts remain about whether the current approach will be effective. That's more in the following report.
As part of its efforts to tackle the menace of illegal mining in Galamsey, government is deploying NIMO's personnel to forests and rivers, which have been declared as security zones. A former MP of Asante Achim North, Ande Kwame Apiakubi, says the involvement of chiefs and community leaders is crucial in the fight against illegal small-scale mining. Galamsey.
You can't do it without the chiefs. You can't do it without the community. No policeman can go and stay in the bush 365 days in a year. But the community itself, they know where the things are going on and they know how to stop them. It is something that all of us must put our shoulders on and push it. Let's not politicize it. It is not A or B or C party that can do it. All of us must do it.
Speaking of the key points, convener of the Ghana Coalition Against Illegal Mining, Engineer Dr. Ken Ashigbe also called on the National House of Chiefs to join in the fight.
Go to the people who have sold their land to the Galamseyers and see the poverty that is happening. The poverty that is happening after that is happening. So nobody's really telling, that story to them. So the allure is basically an Esau mentality. We are cutting our tongues and we are eating and we think we have some. They get poorer after they've given their lands. The only people who get to benefit are the criminals. And now Galamsey has become organized crime. It's become organized crime. And it is serious organized crime. And that's why for me, His Excellency the President, my call to him is that for selfish reasons, to preserve his presidency, he needs to win this particular fight.
Engineer Dr. Ken Ashigbe expressed fears that gold from Ghana may soon be rejected on the international markets due to illegal small-scale mining.
It's not only our cocoa that will not be able to sell. Very soon our gold too will not be able to sell. They are going to now start saying that our gold is all now tainted. And the issues again are not the people you find in the petrol. It is a kingpin that is sitting there who collects 70,000 from people and allows people to go and, to go in. And that's people know, they know them. And so we should start fishing, these people out.
Vice President of Imani, Kofi Bento, who also spoke on the key points, questioned the fight against illegal mining as the country continues to buy gold from illegal miners.
Today, we don't want Galamsey, but we are buying Galamsey gold to shore up the city and hold the economy together. The data shows that a lot of the gold we are buying now is coming from small-scale mining.
Small-scale miners.
Let me finish. Small-scale mining is up to 85% Galamsey. All right?
If you want to license small-scale miners?
Masa, I said we are buying small-scale mining gold. And small-scale mining gold is 85% illegal mining.
But the Chief Executive Officer of Ghana Gold Board, Sami Jemfi, dismissed claims that the Gold Board buys gold from illegal small-scale miners.
Gold Board is a creature of law. The Ghana Gold Board was established under Act 1140 passed by Parliament in 2025. That law provides for how and where Gold Board must buy gold. And if you read it, you'll find out that Gold Board, by law, is mandated to only buy gold from licensed miners. We buy gold, and Mr. Ken Ashigbe, who is the head of the Chamber of Mines, will attest to you that there are about 7 large-scale mining companies in Ghana that Gold Board currently buys 20% of their gold. And we buy this gold to shore up our gold reserves.
As government intensifies the fight against illegal mining, calls continue to grow on government to declare a state of emergency in areas affected by the menace. But for President Mahama, the government has not exhausted available powers to tackle illegal mining. Galamsey continues to pose a serious challenge to sustainable development and environmental preservation. Rivers have been heavily polluted, farmlands degraded, and entire ecosystems disrupted. These environmental destruction directly affect access to clean water and food production, threatening the livelihoods of communities that depend on agriculture. It is hoped that ongoing government efforts will significantly reduce, if not completely eradicate, the menace of illegal mining. A combination of sustained enforcement, public education, and promotion of responsible, small-scale legal mining will be very crucial to restoring the environment, whilst also safeguarding Ghana's natural resources for future generations.
Away from issues related to Galamsey, onion farmers in the Volta region are urging government to control or stop completely the importation of onions from neighboring countries, and this call follows the inability of the farmers to get buyers for their produce amidst a sharp decline in market prices, resulting in huge losses for the farmers.
A major issue that confronts onion farmers today is the issue of competition on the market with onions imported from the sub-region. But this issue is largely fueled by the high cost of production borne by the local onion farmers, making their produce relatively expensive.
Imported chicken manure from Kumasi, Sonyani here. One bag is about 55 cedis. Cow down from Asuchari and Co. costs 30 cedis. There is no Galamsey water here. But production cost here is a very expensive. Fertilizer, a lot last year, compare last year to this year. Last year, one bag of 50 kgs cost us about 350, 400. But this year, it's more than that. This year is 480. Some place you can get it 420, 450.
In effect, the local farmers are struggling to sell their produce.
500 cedis.
I buy a full for 500 Ghana cedis. I transport it all the way to Ajenkotoku and pay 220 cedis for a bag. If you put all this together, that is 800 Ghana cedis. But because of the imported ones, you are forced to sell as less as 500 Ghana cedis. It's the reason why we are not coming to buy. A large amount of the about 1 million metric tons of onion produced annually in Niger alone ends up on the Ghanaian market.
Ghanaian farmers, we start from August to September, sometimes even in July. So when the foreign onions come like that, they come and choke the market. Sometimes they bring the export ones to come and dump in our markets, making it for our products not to be demanded by the customers. So when that happens, it makes sales become very slow.
If I take a loan worth of 200,000 and invest into a farm, and at the end of the day, they import from Niger and Nigeria, and I can't sell mine and break even, and then I don't see where the motivators lie for a youth like me to go in for farming.
Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture, John Seto Dumelo, who visited the farms in Angloga and Ketusaf areas, noted that government is aware of these challenges.
These are the concerns that we will definitely address, or we are addressing. We know that the cost of farm inputs is high, and so we are encouraging more local producers of some of these farm inputs so that we can reduce the cost. That at the end of the day, the end product will be much cheaper than most of the imported goods. And so these issues are genuine concerns.
It appears government does not really have an immediate solution to the plight of the onion farmers here in the region, while the farmers are asking government to stop the importation of onion from the sub-region, particularly Niger. The Deputy Minister for Agriculture is preferring other solutions, including subsidizing the cost on farm inputs to reduce production costs. Faisal Abdul Idrisu, TV3 News.
Well, if you're just tuning in, you're watching another edition of Weekend Central here on TV3 with me, George Kwaning. In more news this afternoon, stakeholders in the agribusiness sector are issuing an urgent call for the government to develop a comprehensive national resilience policy. The primary goal is to tackle the staggering post-harvest losses crippling farmers nationwide.
Data from the Ministry of Trade
Agribusiness and Industry reveals the country loses over $1 billion annually to post-harvest losses. The main challenges have been identified as lack of storage infrastructure and poor access to feeder roads, which prevent produce from reaching market. At a recent regional agribusiness dialogue in Kumasi, industry leaders argued that a targeted policy would not only ensure food security, but also boost value addition, create jobs, and improve the livelihood of smallholder farmers.
We lose $1.9 billion as post-harvest loss. Then we go and import $2 billion to come and supplement. I mean, what are we doing to ourselves as a country? If we want to reduce imports, then we must have policy that will incentivize production and processing of the commodities that we import. We must be bold to invest.
Adding to the conversation, the Ashanti and Bono Regional Chairman of the Association of Ghana Industries, Kwesi Nyamiche, stressed the need for the government to be intentional about promoting made-in-Ghana products to create a ready market for local producers.
No country develops on importations. So government should deliberately build local businesses. All we are asking for is government should create market for our products. That's all we want. This poultry issue and everything, we have poultry farms who have their pens or coops empty. If they will get market for their products, people will just find money to do their business and sell.
In response, the director of agribusiness at the ministry, Kwame Oponing Tim, noted that government is leveraging these stakeholder dialogues to promote import substitution and strengthen the sector.
We are saying that we need to apply technology. We need to have machinery to drive home production. And when we do that, we will be able to produce on a large scale, and that will help us to feed the industry so that the agro-processing industries can operate at the optimal level and employ a lot of people for the government to realize the 24-hour economy policy.
With the scale of the losses clear, stakeholders are hopeful that decisive government intervention and effective policy implementation will build a more resilient and self-sustaining agriculture sector.
Well, you're still watching the Weekend Central, the 13th of October edition. We're going for a quick commercial break. We're back with more news. Stay with us.
Homeopathic clinic. Who be careful airport one? Pa. Chese na me ankasa me period na se problem suwum. Ntina ma wo ho idea ma me. Papa chese na nya asem ketewa. Na me kwan point no, mo hwe me mogya mu no mo hwe bibia na so mo medro. Mo medro me fire no. Ene ma won kra mienu. Hofro kwa na mkwan mu a eba. Head everything yourself. Me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante. Ene ne ko end point. O mama nu nura ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante. That's end point for you.
Ofa Roberto.
Hello.
Hey, ohwehwe what che?
Okay.
A free bra would the end point what dance. I'm a choir no. Me Joseph Sema na nkoye and person na my nyina and imagine sabema. Na me be fear for there. The one nyina jaresa.
You heard everything. I have secret. End point is my secret. End point homeopathic clinic. I'm free.
The stage is set for the grand finale. The finalists are shaping up for the big night. Join us this Sunday on Ghana's Most Beautiful Recap.
Welcome back from the break. The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection has announced a new payment system aimed at improving access to social grants to promote flexible cash-out options for beneficiaries of the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty LEAP program. The ministry will now use the Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement System, GIPS, for disbursing 130 million cedis in grants.
Speaking at the 98th cycle of LEAP payments, Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Dr. Agnes Namomolate, says the move is expected to create ease for beneficiaries while accessing the funds. Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement Systems, GIPS, and Mobile Money Payment System will support payment to over 350,000 households across the country.
We have initiated processes with the Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement System, GIPS, to promote multiple cash-out options for beneficiary households of the LEAP program. This will provide the opportunity for beneficiaries to have multiple cash-out options, enhance financial inclusion of beneficiaries, and promote easy access to grants.
The minister also called on Ghanaians to report any malpractice, fraudulent activity, underpayment, or mistreatment of the LEAP disbursement funds to the ministry.
And now the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, has called on traditional leaders and stakeholders to work together to address chieftaincy disputes and promote development in the country. He made the comment during a meeting with the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs. Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, expressed concern over recent chieftaincy-related violence in parts of the region, which has resulted in the loss of lives and destruction of property. He called on traditional leaders to work together to find lasting solutions to these conflicts.
Government remains committed to promoting peace and stability within the chieftaincy institution. Through the ministry, several initiatives have been undertaken to strengthen traditional governance and expedite dispute resolution through the judicial committees of the regional houses of chiefs. However, government efforts alone cannot bring this lasting peace that we seek to achieve. The active involvement of traditional leaders, opinion leaders, and community members is also essential in fostering dialogue, tolerance, and mutual respect.
The president of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, King Professor Wolenche III, assured that the House remains committed to collaborating with government to address these long-standing disputes.
This year, the Regional House initiated a strategy of writing and introducing all registered chiefs within the region to the security agencies to aid them in their operation. Regrettably, some unscrupulous persons coming under the cover of chieftaincy took the laws into their hands and went on a shooting spree which took the lives of some people. We are urging the RESEC to delve deeper into all these incidents and report to the House accordingly. These violent clashes must stop now. We wish if both sector ministers will collaborate and fund our sittings for speedy trials of cases rather than spending money on security forces to keep peace.
The minister further assured the House that government is committed to providing the necessary policy, institutional and financial support for the development and modernization of the chieftaincy institution. Well, what is your stake or your take on chieftaincy disputes and stories that have aired so far? We are active on Facebook. Get interactive with us as TV3 Ghana. Hopefully you read your comments and share them to the rest of the world. And now the Ablekuma North Municipal Health Directorate has expressed concern over the rising number of hepatitis B cases diagnosed in the municipality. Speaking to TV3 during a joint breast cancer and hepatitis B awareness screening, the Directorate actually noted that many of those diagnosed are unaware of the serious health risk associated with the infection.
World Health Organization statistics show that breast cancer is the most common cause of death among middle-aged women and contributes significantly to maternal mortality in developing countries. The disease is also responsible for the deaths of millions of women worldwide. However, health experts say many cancers, including breast cancer, are treatable if diagnosed early. To address the critical effects of the disease, the Municipal Health Directorate, in collaboration with the Member of Parliament for Ablekuma North, organized a breast cancer awareness campaign as part of activities marking Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The aim was to create awareness and support the fight against the disease.
We've given education on importance of the breast screening. We have done education on cervical cancer prevention, which we have started vaccination for children 9 to 14 years. Aside that, so far we've seen about a number of them, and we've seen a normal breast so far for them.
This is the month of October, especially for focusing on breast screening. However, we think screening the females alone isn't enough, and so we are doing the health screening with the Ablekuma North Municipal Health Directorate, as you can see. So we are taking care of the elderly, the children, youth, and it's covering all aspects of health.
During the event, the MP appealed for support to help renovate the Ablekuma North Polyclinic to better address the health challenges facing the constituents.
We don't have the best of facilities in Ablekuma North. We have just one public clinic, which we are hoping to improve on and then also add a couple. And so we need support. So anybody who or any agencies that can come to our aid, we would be very much grateful to serve a great cause.
The Health Directorate is targeting the screening of over 1,000 residents throughout the month of October. The exercise began with public education sessions focused on prevention and early detection of the disease. In total, 1,000 women underwent clinical breast cancer screening as part of the initiative.
We're going for a quick commercial break. We're back with more news. Stay with us.
On hot issues.
Mining is critical. We can't do without it. But all this government is saying, all the president is saying is that we must get to the place where every Ghanaian understands that if we want to mine, you must mine responsibly and sustainably.
What do you say to people who say that the permanent deployment to these security zones is because we do not have the resources to do that?
We shouldn't be spending the money to do that. That's why I'm saying that these are all stopgap measures.
So money isn't a problem for the fight against Galamsey?
Oh, money is a real problem.
What does a win or success look like?
All our pristine forest reserve will turn green.
During your presentation with the CSOs, you had mentioned that corruption was one of the stumbling blocks that the fight against Galamsey was facing. Who are the corrupt politicians you are having to face off with?
This canker that is eating us up as a country is being festering because people who have a lot of money, people who are well connected, are always trying to use the system, including politicians.
Are there people in this government who are making your work difficult?
There have been allegations made, but I'm very happy that we were very swift in undertaking investigations.
Hot Issues now shows on Sundays at 1 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
And in today's edition of Regional Hub, health officials in the Bono East region are targeted to vaccinate over 8,000 girls in the ongoing vaccination exercise against the human papillomavirus vaccine, HPV. And to bring you that story in our subsequent bulletins, and away from that, The Ghana National Association of Private Schools, NACOP, says it has made efforts to sensitize parents of children who attend private schools to participate in national vaccination programs. This follows complaints by the Ghana Health Service about resistance from many private schools whenever there is a national vaccination program. According to the chairman of the association, in the Ebura Isibu district, Daniel Kwaning, the association has stepped up its sensitization efforts to encourage parents of private school children to get their children vaccinated to protect them against diseases. Authorities from the Ghana Health Service have set a target to vaccinate over 200,000 girls between the ages of 9 and 14 in the central region. The HPV vaccination is being rolled out by the Ghana Health Service to prevent and protect girls aged 9 to 14 from cervical cancer and other related diseases. And now let's take a listen to the Daniel Kwaning, who is the chairman of the Private Schools Association in Ebura Isibu district, and some parents who spoke to TV3.
Exercise, we know, is a nationwide something that the Ministry of Health is collaborating with the Ghana Education Service. And you know, children of such age from 9 to 14 can be obtained within the basic school. So we as private schools are also involved. Just as you rightly asked, our parents are kind of special, and whatever concerns their children, they are so eager to look at the pros and cons of it. So as you asked, some of them ask whether there wouldn't be any challenges when they take the vaccines, and you also end up giving them feedbacks with respect to giving them letters of consent for them to be approved before we avail their children for the vaccine exercise. And so far, we've not gotten reports with respect to any parents who do not want the vaccine to be given to the child. So if you ask, that is basically what I would say.
In more news this afternoon, the National School Feeding Program is poised to expand these services to include over 1,000 students from non-beneficial public basic schools in rural communities across the nation. More than 4 million students are currently benefiting from the initiative. Here's a report by Claude Kumi Abisa.
The government's efforts reflect a commitment to not only enhancing education, but also ensuring that no child goes hungry at school. As she toured various schools, Hajia Fati expressed her satisfaction with both the quality and quantity of meals provided to students.
It falls within the menu which we have given to the region, if I may say. And I'm so much impressed with what I've come to see here. I just hope that it's not going to be a one-day wonder.
She highlighted that the government has resolved all outstanding payments to caterers, ensuring a seamless continuation of services.
The secretariats have been under a lot of criticisms. But for the past few months, you are in the media space, you have realized that the narrative is gradually changing. It's all because of the effort we are putting in there to ensure that we streamline things and also make the program a better one. 4 years from now, it is my hope that we'll be able to rope on much more non-beneficiary schools to also benefit from the program. Our focus is going to be on schools at the remote areas in our country.
In her visit, heads of schools voiced their appreciation for the initiative, citing a marked improvement in both schools' enrollment and attendance. They reported that the reliable provision of meals has led to greater regularity in student attendance compared to previous years when nutritional support was lacking.
The school feeding program has helped the school. It has increased the population, especially those needy peoples. They know that whenever they come to school, they'll get something to eat. So the absenteeism and truancy, it has stopped because of the feeding program. So we are so grateful for our government and our coordinators.
Furthermore, the Bono Regional Minister, Joseph Adai Akwabua, pledged his full support for the initiative, echoing calls for its swift expansion to encompass all public basic schools within the region.
Has not covered so many schools in our region, and the numbers given to the schools are also somehow not enough. So I will pray that we'll expand the program to cover some schools in the region.
And now a critical shortage of teachers is casting a shadow over the Northeast region, jeopardizing the education of countless children. But amidst the challenges, the East Mamprusi Municipal Education Service is stepping up, pioneering a program to recognize and reward its most dedicated educators. Eric Bain is the East Mamprusi Municipal Director of Education. Take a listen.
I had a tour in all the schools, and when I got there, I saw that a lot of the teachers are working under bad conditions, and I was touched that I have to motivate them. And I saw that a lot of teachers are also leaving the municipality, even though we have a very low deployment of teachers. Yet a lot of them are leaving. So I realized that if I come out with this particular innovative, it will help motivate the teachers to enable them stay on for a very long time before they leave. And that is why I got them motivated. And when I had an engagement with the stakeholders, and then I saw that they were buying into my vision. And so I carried it out. So I wrote letters for financial support, either in kind or cash. And fortunately for me, with the help of God, I cannot claim it. It is the help of God. I was able to get these marvelous items to give to my teachers in the municipality.
Well, the Black Stars of Ghana are set for a high-stake clash against Comoros in their 2026 World Cup qualifiers. This is the final one, and it's happening at the Accra Sports Stadium. So make time to be a part of this very game. It's very crucial, and we want to see you at the stadium. That's how we end today's edition of Weekend Central. It came to you live from the news app here at Adesawi Kanda. For more news updates, just log on to our website, s3news.com. Alternatively, you can join my colleague Crosby and Aisha at 7 on News 360. Thanks for watching. Coming joining you for Hot Issues at 1. Have a good afternoon.